You're live.
Hello, everyone. Well, I'm back. I found Ted. I love technology. I love the fact that we can all connect around the world, and sometimes we get lost even in technology, like even in the world, even in that dimension, and that's okay, right? That just shows how wonderful and how the pieces of our lives come together and the world and how we interact with it, and then how we all eventually come together. So this is just beautiful. I'm so excited today because it is not only Monday, but I'm so happy to be here with all of you. I am your host, Deepal, and thank you for joining me again. With listeners all around the world, I am here live every Monday talking about how your body can heal itself if you give it a chance. Masking the symptoms doesn't help, and even ignoring them, like most people. I used to be one of them. Being in control of your body, that's what it's all about. Don't let the pharmaceutical company do it to you, because you know what? I was one of those who was pushing drugs for 12 years. Anytime somebody had a headache, I was like, oh, I got the pill. So and now I'm doing energy healing work. So it's like a 180 for me, going from pills to energy. But I want to tell you, because of my experience and what I've seen out there, give your body a chance. Okay. And that's what my show is all about. I want you to recognize what you're putting in your body, whatever food you're putting in, whatever herbs you're using, supplements, whatever it is, the drugs that you're using, how is it affecting your body? But what's the underlying cause? So that's what my show is all about. It's time to discover how energy healing can help you get to the root cause of your symptoms and give you the power to heal your own diseases and discomforts and pains. So we'll talk about energy in just a little bit, because it's going to get really exciting in here. But today I want to offer you guys a free gift. And how can you get this free gift? So let me tell you. Because whenever you comment on this episode in the next 48 hours, you will automatically be entered into a drawing for 20 minutes of a free energy healing session with me. So just comment anywhere on any of the social media platforms, especially here on Facebook if you're joining us today live. And I will get back to the lucky winner within 48 hours. So for today's show, you can connect with us and call in here live. If you want to talk to us, we want to talk to you. So the number to dial in is 844-390-8255. That number again is 844-390-8255. And if you just want to listen, you can go to anandaforlife.com. You can also see us live here at Contact Talk Radio Facebook page. So there are many ways you can listen. Pick whatever's best for you. Today, we are going to learn and dive into music, the world of music, the world of sound. Oh, I just love it. Love music. And certain beats that can really heal our bodies. You know, we use energy healing, allopathic medicine, acupuncture, and so many other modalities. But what about sound? How does that affect you when you hear sound? And I'm not talking about the radio station, okay? I'm not talking about that at all, even though that is healing for some people, okay? It is healing. But I want you to dive deeper, okay? I'm talking about the sound of your brain waves, okay? Connecting with your brain waves, where healing can actually occur in the body because we're changing the brain waves, all right? Now, this sounds like an awesome topic, and my guest today, I've got Ted Winslow. And Ted, like many others, want to help people heal through changing their energy field. And some of you, this language might be new, the energy field. What does that mean, right? So I'm just going to talk a little bit about this, but I'm not going to go too deep because I want you to just get an understanding of the energy field. That is your biofield, okay? It's the biofield. It's around your body. And we, each and every one of us, have 7 layers of energy. And some people call it aura. So you may have heard the term aura. And it is this protective layer. It's an energy system that we need to protect our bodies, to help filter the energy that comes in, the information that comes in. Your energy field or aura, it filters out information, and that is so important because if you don't, what happens is that energy gets stuck. Okay? And when it gets stuck, that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. You'll notice you don't feel good. Your mood might change. Your feelings might change. Your emotions might change. Maybe even aches and pains may show up in your body. But, and I know each and every one of us, our emotions change every second. But we don't sit there and write down our emotions every second, right? It just flips, just like that. And we're like, where is it coming from sometimes, right? We don't understand. Well, maybe today's talk, you'll understand where that anger might be coming from, where that frustration, disappointment, maybe that feeling of worthlessness, that lack of self-esteem, feeling stuck in your life. We have to clear these energies from the energy field because they will manifest physically within the cells of your body. And that's where we love to hold on to things because we as humans love to hold a grudge, right? How many of you out there love to hold a grudge, whether with an ex-boyfriend or a boyfriend, a current boyfriend, or your husband or your kids or your parents? We don't let things go. And that's why it's so important to heal. Okay. And I'm going to use that word a lot because we're healing our bodies. We need to learn how to heal our bodies more naturally. So I am so happy to have Ted because he has a way of clearing the energy field with sound. He's going to talk to us more about how important sound is and what it could do for you. And it's such an interesting topic to me because sometimes I will listen, I'll use sound in my own recordings to help people shift and transform their energies, their thought, their healing overall. And it makes a huge, huge impact. And so to me, sound is so important that it plays a huge role, which many of you may not realize consciously, okay? And I say that because if you ever go into a doctor's office or the spa or the grocery store or the department store, what's the first thing that you hear? So I want you to be more conscious of this now. Okay, what kind of music and what does it do to your body? Doesn't it just calm you down and then you're buying more stuff than you need, right? Because it's the music. So here today we have Ted, and he's on a mission to help people heal through sound, and he makes the music himself using amazing, amazing techniques that he's going to talk to us about. And I will have Ted tell you more about his music and how he has created this in just a bit. But let me first introduce and tell you about Ted. So that you can understand. He is an award-winning producer and an internationally acclaimed for his pioneering work in research and development in sound healing and its positive effect on the human energy field. Ted's music features sound sync tech, where he founded a customized brainwave technology developed through binaural beats, unique compositions, state-of-the-art recording technologies, and frequencies to create a theta and alpha brainwave state. He is currently developing specialized sound sync tech for WellPoint hypnosis method. He is a best-selling recording artist, producer, and composer with an international following. So welcome to the show today, Ted. I am so happy to have you here today, and I'm sure our listeners are too. It's very exciting. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here. And I'm listening to the introduction that you're kind of talking about. As the musician in me is kind of thinking lyrically, and we're talking energy fields. And if I can just touch base on those quick, because it's kind of cool. Grudge. I love the thing you said about we don't want to hold a grudge, which rhymes with sludge. And that's a whole energy right there, which bogs us down and keeps us from being able to move forward into the paths that we sort of are trying to choose from. And our 7 energy fields, gee, it's amazing that we talk about 7. That's kind of a magical number on its own, especially when coming with music, because for the most part, there's 7 main frequencies that you're working with in a composition, and then the rest of it is just kind of ornamental. So, but back to saying, I want to say thank you so much for having me on, Deepal. It's just such a pleasure to be here, and you do such amazing work with connecting everybody and raising our consciousness and do the
Oh,
healing that we need to look for.
thank you. Thank you, Ted. So I always love to find out like people's journey because, everybody has a story and I'd love to find out how you got here and your purpose and how you found your path.
Well, I started out as a studio musician and was learning engineering through University of Colorado. So my path was already well into music. And fast forward some time, I'm with my now wife, and she was playing what was called sound healing music. And I was listening to it and I'm like, I don't know that really feels like sound healing music to me. It kind of sounds like bad elevator music. And she looks at me, she's like, well, okay, then if you're so smart, let's see you do something. And so now I think I'm up to 281 separate compositions. And that kind of got me on it. That was, was it a dare? Was it meant to be?
So now when my husband dares me to do something, I do
Yeah,
it.
nothing like a little competition, right? Whether it's yourself or it's others pushing you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you know what? She knew you had something there. I bet you she felt your energy.
There's that word again, energy. Yeah.
Yeah, that word is thrown around a lot lately, and I just want to clarify, when we talk about energy, because it's so important, right? Because, I don't think people realize when I talk to others and when I talk about energy, they don't realize that we are energy. We are not this body, and everything around us is energy, even though it's solid matter, but it's energy. Okay, if you break it down, even though light doesn't pass through it, it's energy. You can feel it. And a lot of people are still skeptical about energy. But if we go back to physics, even your music, probably all that quantum, physics probably comes into play, the geometry of everything, right, within the
Oh,
music
yeah.
too. So I just, ever since we've connected, I've listened to some of your stuff and that you've created, and it's just so beautiful. And the days that have been really long hours for me, sometimes I've just taken that music and it's really taken me, like it relaxed me immediately. And it took me to such a deep level to where I almost felt like I was entranced, I guess, like just feeling like I was floating. Okay. And it was like as if when I came out of it, it was like this relaxation that had come over me. So what is it that you incorporate in your music and how is it different? Can you explain that to us?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So through my journey, when I was kind of like playing with this back in as working as a studio musician, we were doing tunings that was known as what's standard tuning is known as 440 hertz. And so what that means is that I would sit down in a recording studio, or if I was playing with an orchestra or something like that, we would all tune to that same key frequency. This is going to be A above middle C, so to speak. And we all use that same one. And at one point, I kind of had an epiphany, and I'm like, we all are tuning to the same frequencies, the same thing that we're hearing over and over every day. We're waking up to it. It's on the news. It's in our commercials that they're trying to tell us that we have to buy this, or we need this prescription, or we need this insurance policy. And I started digging a little bit deeper. So now you can kind of go into theory that it kind of bounces around with different genres of music periods. But long story short, a gentleman by the name of Joseph Goebbels, who was a part of the Third Reich minister, says, well, it's of utmost importance, and this was before World War II, it's of utmost importance that we use this frequency and start to tune to it. And so these great minds all through Europe and Vienna and Italy and London are like, okay, let's go ahead and do that. Well, it's a very, very, very dissonant frequency. So I kind of dug a little bit deeper, and I'm like, well, that's kind of crazy. Well, you look at classical era, Baroque area, they were playing with some temperaments with music. And this is where my music starts to kind of kick into by breaking away the 440. Now I have to finish up with that conspiracy theory or whatever people want to call it, because a lot of people have heard that. But now flash forward, Grammy award-winning guitarist by the name of Steve Lukather, who played with a band called Toto, all of a sudden is scoring a big score for a film. I believe it was Dune, 1980, so to speak. And he scores it, and he's got the guitars, but he has to go get an orchestra. He goes to Vienna, right? Austria, right there where the Third Reich kind of came from, so to speak. And he puts it in front of them, and they're supposed to tune to 440, and they're like, we're not going to tune to 440. And he's like, but everything is already scored and is at 440 with the music. So they refused to tune to 440 back in the 80s too. I think, and I can't remember what they tuned to. So I knew that there was something there by getting out of the 440, and I tune all my music. Those who are familiar with me or look at my song titles, there's always a frequency that's behind it, and the frequency is going to be hertz. In music, an electrical frequency and stuff, it's a measurement of electricity that is distinguished by this unit, so-called hertz, that the body is electrical, and multiple frequencies make up and create this. So it's the vibration that I'm using, and I could see how we could change our energy fields by just merely shifting that. So we're no longer stuck in this 440, we're going to other areas in frequency. Now, not to get mundane and bore everybody with this, but it's kind of, I equate it to when we're looking at colors on the color spectrum. There's 7 colors, and they're measured by a nanometer. And they're red, yellow, blue, violet, orange, green, and indigo. There's 7 again. We just talked about that earlier. And that's how we're measuring music through these 7 notes with these. Now, I go one step further, and I start putting in binaural beats. And through the binaural beats and my development of sound sync technology, I can now incorporate theta. I can incorporate delta. One of my albums that I came out with this year was in gamma, which is dealing with higher learning and intellectual learnings. Right now, as we're speaking, we're in beta. So I don't do any albums in beta. We're already talking in beta.
Right.
And with WellPoint hypnosis, we're using delta that's going much deeper into it. So that's kind of the basis of where I've been taking my music and leading it off to.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Do you think that, because when I do healings and I notice like what I'm feeling is different energies, even within the organs and systems of the body, don't you think that they also have their own frequency that they resonate at or
Absolutely.
vibrate at?
Absolutely. And there's I haven't delved into the music with the organs and those specific frequencies, just because there's a lot of them. I imagine as we progress further scientifically looking at this, that all of a sudden somebody's saying, I'm having a problem with my liver or pancreas. And it's like, okay, let's go ahead and look up what this frequency is. Now we can go ahead and produce a frequency that's on that. Going along that line, as we talked about, that we're energy, and everything around us is energy, we're oscillatory beings. We're constantly oscillating. Some of us are going to oscillate faster than others. Some of us might oscillate a little bit slower than others. Synthesize, and I got all my synthesizers in the other room. I was going to try to, but they're all based off of oscillation to create that frequency or that sound, so to speak. So yeah, our body, each one from our toes, we look at Ayurvedic medicine talks about pressure points on the hands, the palms. So
Yep. Yep. And speaking of Ayurveda, I just came, even though it's a 5,000-year-old Indian practice, I just recently decided to try Ayurveda myself. And I love it. I love it. And I think that incorporating different things for us as humans to heal, I think that's a great, you know, just creating our own little community of healing, right? So bringing in sound music, bringing in energy healing, bringing in Ayurveda, bringing in these different aspects that are available to us. I think it's a wonderful composition of things that we can work with ourselves, right?
absolutely. You're an intuitive healer. You can automatically look at a client and you can sit there and realize, okay, let me guess, you've got something that's going wrong on your left side here, and be able to start to pinpoint it and figure out what that is, move those blockages or move those energies. And that's the beauty of it. My system with music is just a different way to be able to move those blockages and be able to clear those out and set you to a higher vibration. Um, absolutely.
And that's beautiful. It just works so powerfully. Now you've created a new genre, right? Out music with your sound sync tech. What is this, and why are we seeing so many benefits coming out of this?
Well, so what I developed was SoundSync Tech. And as I'm kind of been a techie, along with being a musician and loving being a producer, I got tired of playing live. So it gave me the chance to go into the technology aspects where we're working at today. I mean, like we talked kind of at the beginning of the show, we're sitting here speaking at different parts across the country, broadcasting all over to people all over the world, not only in an audio format, but we're also using a video format, deals with compression, how to be able to send this information out to others. So I looked at it from music standpoint, knowing that when I'm writing a composition at 432 hertz, that's a certain frequency that is very uplifting and can change me really quickly. And I found out through doing some of that with some clients or listeners that I could change their energy field in a matter of 6 minutes and sometimes less. Now we're dealing with entrainment. Our body is 75% liquid and our muscles are 90%. And when we're being hit with these frequencies, now we're entraining it. So we've been listening to 440 our whole time. It's the same thing. And now I'm going with the new frequencies and it's changing us instantly that we're feeling it. So I developed SoundSync Tech. It's a customized brainwave technology that is through binaural beats, composition, tuning, state-of-the-art recording technologies, frequencies, and brainwave entrainment. Now, brainwave entrainment, basically billions of neurons throughout our brain are communicating with one another through electricity. And these electrical pulses are actually rhythms in nature. Just like any other rhythm system. And these rhythms elicit brain frequency follow and response, encouraging the brain waves to align with the frequency of that given beat or that given frequency. So I'm not only changing the tuning of a composition of 432, I'm now incorporating, say, theta waves that's going to be into that. Well, now we've got the healing of 432. Theta, what is that, Ted? That's basically anywhere from 4 to 7 hertz in frequency. And this is the border between our conscious and subconscious world that we can kind of go in at. And then it's this state of consciousness that we can access and influence the normally inaccessible parts of our waking minds. So I play with theta, alpha, delta, and then gamma. So
And those are, you know what? I was just reading something, and you mentioned a lot of great points of working with the brain. And, researchers believe that changes occur because the binaural beats activate specific systems, just like you said, within the brain, right? And so that also impacts the body itself. Now, there is a machine called the EEG,
Uh-huh.
right? And that recorded the electrical brain activity of people listening to binaural beats, and it showed that the effect on the person's body varied according to the frequency pattern. So yeah, I mean, I think more people, if you haven't tried using binaural beats, give it a chance. I know I've seen some stuff on YouTube. It's not, I mean, some of it hurts my ears, it doesn't feel like binaural beats, but I know I've listened to some stuff. It's amazing. I was like, oh, at first I was like, well, this doesn't sound like binaural, because I'm not used to that. When I look at YouTube, it's like, and I'm like, oh my God. So, what I want to find out is what is the difference then between like traditional sound healing music and sound sync tech?
Um, I like to equate it that it's the difference between drinking carrot juice or a smoothie with turmeric, ginger, pineapple, apple. I mean, there's a lot of, we know that all those nutrients are going to be better for us. We know carrot juice is good for us,
Right.
but if you go in with with the whole smoothie of the protein out powder added to it, or you can throw into the wheatgrass on there, help clean the blood pellets. So I equate it to that. I see a lot of people, I get a lot of people that'll like talk to me going, oh yeah, that's great. I use a tuning fork. So they'll take a tuning fork and they'll
Yeah.
hit this tuning fork and it'll ring. Like, there you go. Do you feel that? Well, of course I feel that. I feel that at what that frequency is 228, and so, but I want it all over me. And so that's why I started using one. It's good to listen to it through headphones with the music that's doing with it. Traditional sound healing. Okay, I've got a medicine drum. This was given to me as a gift from a Cherokee elder of a medicine woman. And it went through 7 days of ceremony with it. And there's two of them that were made in the process of it. And it's a sound healing device. We know that we can use it, but I can't go through having somebody just sludge me with their and and want to go ahead and start hitting the medicine drum. I'm going to need variety. So that's the difference that I deal with a lot of traditional sound healing. The other thing is technology. A lot of that stuff is kind of like it's so old with some of the old new age music was derivative from jazz, so to speak. So I hated the term when I kind of got termed coming up with my own frequency genre that I was new age, because I'm really not, because that's kind of jazz. That's a whole separate genre on its own than the healing music that I'm using from the past, because I'm taking these frequencies and manipulating them. Manipulating. So you said I listened to it and I'm like, oh my God, that just hurts. So I can play a theta for a certain generation of people, and they're going to go, that's fantastic. And then I can play it for another thing, and they're going to go, oh my God, what the heck is that? Because
Right.
it can be too much for certain people. And so that's with mine. I have to soften down a lot of the areas so that we are picking that up subconsciously and picking that up through yet entrainment to our bodies.
So then what are like the benefits of these various secondary frequencies that you incorporate in the theta and the alpha and the gamma, that you do in the music?
So the benefits that I see is the first one that I was always looking for was relaxation. When I was playing live, especially with 440 music, we would get off the stage, and I mean it could be 1, 2 o'clock in the morning if you were headlining, and I wouldn't be able to go to sleep for a long time. And 100-watt amplifiers that are just pounding through you at that, of course I'm not going to. This is a dissonant frequency of 440. So the benefit I wanted to look for was like, how can I get off? How can I not self-medicate and be able to just go into this my normal energy that is me? And so I found that doing the music, then now I've got relaxation. It's phenomenal for meditation. It will reduction in our stress levels, management of pain levels. It's our state of well-being. It helps us sleep at night. A lot of people I've helped, they are not able to sleep at night. They got the chatter in their brain, and they can put it on and instantly just start to fall asleep and drift off. It's going to enhance our intuition. We're all intuitive beings. It's amazing when I talk to somebody and they're like, I don't know, I can't read your mind, or I can't figure it. And it's like, you can. You just have to be in that self, your higher self and energy field, and you could start to see all of this. Enhanced creativity, remote viewing. I mean, it can go on and on and on. But
So, like, yeah, so can you give us like some examples of people who, if there's any people that did have like chronic issues that, of course, insomnia and or addictions or things like that, do you feel like binaural beats do help with things like that?
yeah, absolutely. Of course, there's a gentleman that he was shot at an early age and he was paralyzed. And he was in a really dark place. And they ended up putting him into a care facility for some of the elderly. And it just was really dark and hating it. And one of our actual WellPoint practitioners gave him one of my albums. I believe it was Angelic Sound Healing, and instantly started changing him. And his mood changed, and just a wonderful young man. I keep in contact with him because I like to know what the progress is, and to see how the change is facilitating with him as he's spreading light through this world. And so he's been listening to it, and his doctors were saying, I think his feet or legs were atrophying, and now he's getting some movement, and they couldn't believe that they're seeing that there was movement that was going along with his legs. Um, Youth sports. So I dealt with an individual that had a concussion. Schools are starting to play my music, and which is great to see that the education system is putting this into there to help for higher learning and stress levels and all that. I mean, kids' schools today is completely different than when I was in school, and the
Mhm.
stress levels. So there's another instance that this young man had a concussion, and he got it in a football game and couldn't was having a hard time going back to school because now he couldn't look at the pages and focus on it. And she started playing my music for him, and the headache went away, and his studies picked up. And the doctor cleared him less than a week to go out and play football. So, and I used to play semi-pro, and I'm like, wait, the concussion is typically 1 week, at least a minimum of 1 week, and he was cleared by his physician that he came right back from it.
Wow.
Uh, so it's amazing.
Wow. I mean, you know what? Yeah, concussions, using it in school, using it, I wish they'd use it in the classrooms when the kids are like studying, because how much focus can you give when you have an hour and a half of class? I don't ever remember having an hour and a half of a particular class. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I would do if I had to sit for an hour and a half. I definitely have to take your music with me. That's for sure.
take the take the gamma, because that's associated with higher learning. Gamma is it comes compassion, a feeling of oneness, and creation, a feeling of blessings. And that's what because I was trying to earlier I mentioned I was trying to rest, so I was using the alpha, the theta. We saw how the delta was doing, and yet when I go to the gym, I kind of want something that's going to be a little bit more uplifting, that takes you out of the beta and the higher lifting level.
There we go. That's what I need. I need that too. So I'll just take it all. Well, I was going to take a break, but I really, really am very excited to have you. And I have so many more questions. So I do want to just let people know that they can call in, and we'll see if we have some time to take your questions or comments. All you have to do is dial into 844-390-8255. Again, that number is 844-390-8255. And definitely, please leave your comments below if you're loving what you're seeing. We want to hear from you so that you can win a free 20-minute session with me. So, of course, as you all know, I'm here with this amazing, amazing artist and producer here today for sound healing and its positive effects on the energy field. So I'm so excited to have you here, Ted, again. And you just released a new album, Ethereal. I mean, I just love the sound of that. It just gives me chills. Can you tell us more about this album and why you've gone in a different direction than your previous recordings?
Um, okay. I'm going to answer that in two parts. The first aspect is that we're talking about with the healing and the listeners that are here. Part of my journey started with angelic sound healing, and then I'll get into the gamma with that one next. And I've been so blessed with how this one came out. It's all the angel frequencies. And so as the listeners have been hearing me talk about this, I want them to be able to go get a free digital copy off of my website for themselves. So I want to offer that to them first. And most of the information I have is on tedwinslow.com. And if you go on to there, go into the store. And once you go inside the store, select Angelic Sound Healing. And once you select that, then you're going to go ahead and check out. Now, don't put in any credit card information. As you're checking out, it's going to ask you for a coupon code. And that coupon code, just type in radio, and it's going to zero out your balance. Do it from a computer. I think it's more difficult from iPods or from people's phones if they try to do it. The computer is going to have your own music database thing. It'll be a digital copy that'll be downloaded. And so that way you can all understand what the changes is with this. And it's actually one of my Amazon best-selling albums. So I was using that one. I was blessed with the angels. I was I was on a spiritual journey riding my motorcycle from Colorado up to Alaska and back. And I ended up passing by a car and I saw the license plate was 111. I'm like, oh, there's a frequency right there. And not much longer, another car I ended up passing, and there was a bumper sticker on the back that was like, I fly with angels. I'm like, that couldn't be more appropriate with what I'm doing now. So I want to share that with the listeners, and they can get to feel this. Raise your vibration, use it before you sleep, use it when you cook. Especially if you have a bad cook in the house. I'm more fortunate I don't. So I digress here. So I was looking for, people have been talking about, well, I love your music, Ted, and it's fantastic, but if I go to the gym or I'm doing a spin class or something, I kind of want something that's going to be a little bit more uplifting. And that led me to recording ethereal. And my spouse is a master hypnotherapist. So she's founded this company that's called WellPoint Hypnosis. And so she'll do past life regressions, future life regressions, parallel life regressions with me. And one of them was coming through talking about, I wanted to ask what would be the next album to be able to go through. And it was ethereal. And that the meaning, if you think of ethereal, is piercing that veil, that thin mist or that veil of the realities into what we could do next, or what we could turn into our manifest for our own realities, and receiving the abundance that we want to. And that's where that whole album started, it stemmed from, and it came through with that.
I love it. I love that because, yeah, we do have a lot of listeners that are on a spiritual journey, or, they are sensitive. They are light workers and healers, and just on this beautiful journey. And I think that I'm going to grab that as soon as we get off of this. And I did see it. I don't know if I put the code in or what happened, but I did see that. And it really resonated with me. So I'm so glad that you did release that album, because I can't imagine how amazing that's going to be. Now, you also recently incorporated your music, you said, with your wife, right? So can you tell us just a little bit more? I know you said it helps with past life regressions, but how does that work? Like, so is the music playing as she's doing her sessions, or how does that work?
Okay, so the first part of it that we kind of go through is kind of like an interview process before we start putting people into the hypnosis stage of it. And so it's changing the whole frequency. And it's all, I did it with delta because we associate delta, it's 4 hertz or less, and as a deep dreamless sleep where the body can heal and restore itself. So, we're looking at regressions. You think of epigenetics, that we have 14 generations of sludge. I keep going back to sludge since we talked about that earlier. 14 generations of the stuff that we're coming through. So somebody starts out and they're a catalyst, and the next generation, this, whatever this is that happened, mutates, and then it mutates again, and it's, it's becoming into our DNA. So with the delta waves, we started using that so that we're releasing, part of the benefits is releasing anti-aging hormones, including melatonin, HGH, DHEA, and it's the deepest relaxation, deepest healing, deepest spiritual connection, the deepest connection with the subconscious mind. So as she's talking with them and kind of getting them to relax, they're being entrained now with these frequencies with 538. I'm coming out with my 6th one now that's for it. And it's changing the landscape on it. Why we decided to do that is if somebody plays something of a new age music or something that they might have been entrained to or had a bad experience with, maybe some people have used to use classical music and they might have had some family abuse, and now all of a sudden they can't get into their higher self because that music is stemming with it. Well, mine's a whole genre. I know that they haven't heard what I've done. It now puts you into the state with the theta and whatever frequency were used on that. Then now they can go deep, and then the hypnosis process can go through and uncover whatever they wish to uncover at that point.
Wow. So did she do this in person, or can she do this online as well?
We're doing it in a multitude of ways. We're doing it. People can come into. I've got a commercial studio here, and so we've hold classes here. Throughout the year, we've got level 1, level 2, level 3, so they can come in person. I had an individual that she was under some heavy power lines, and I'll get that second part. It is online too, and I'll explain that. But she was under some heavy power lines, and so she actually wanted to meet me and talk a little bit more in person about the music. And it was great for her to come in and explain how she was depressed, never wanted to get out of bed. She never wanted to, just had no zest for life and to get out and do anything. And once she got a hold of my music, it changed her vibration. And so she had to come, like, what is this that is happening? Who is this musician and what are you doing? And she came here in person and thought it'd be great to take the class. And so she's actually one of our practitioners. So people can come in person to meet Christina, which is my spouse, who teaches it, ask her any questions on it for it, or you can go online and take the class as well. We've got classes that are available. You go to wellpointhypnosismethod.com, and we have all the information that's there, whether they want to meet us, come in person, take it from a practitioner. We're certifying practitioners as well.
Where are you located, Ted? Where did you say?
I'm located right here in Colorado. It's Littleton. It's on the outside suburbs of Denver. And we're just like right at the base of the mountains. So look out the window, and I've got the mountains right there that we get to see. It's on the edge of a golf course too. So bring a spouse if you like to play golf.
Love it. I love it. So I mean, this is amazing because, and here's my question, because I'm curious. So let's say if someone contacts you and they want something specific for them, something specific for whatever is going on in their body, can you customize something for individuals, or would you just recommend what you've already created?
I would, and that's a great question. I don't do that because that one person that has that specific ailment that they're looking for, there's going to be probably 50 to 100 other people with the same problems that they're having. I've got over 200 plus, I think I'm closing on 281 compositions, because one person we're intuitive beings. We can focus on what frequency that we want. Let me explain this a different way. As an intuitive being, you can go through and choose which sound you want to listen to, or which track that is going to be more beneficial to you, because our body is going to be able to go right towards that and know what it is. I could sit here and go, I think you need this, but it's going to be different for each individual, and they're going to find stuff that on their own with the help in their healing process as it is.
Yeah, I agree. And I can't believe you have 180, you said?
Yeah, that's kind of, we're talking about the gamma thing, and it's constantly coming in. I'm getting messages in the morning, and I play everything. I write everything. I produce it. I love it. I can't believe it's come this much. People who want those frequencies too, but maybe don't want to purchase the album. Spotify, with the technology we have, are going on it blows my mind on Spotify, and they're creating playlists, their own healing playlists with all of these energies that are going to be pertinent to what they might want with that, whether it's the angelic frequencies, whether it's 528 is healing and repairing of our DNA. Russian scientists are being able to show that. And I've got tons of 528.
That's awesome. So you're on Spotify as well, right? I think I looked you up on Spotify also. So that's awesome. You are amazing. And I am so glad that we got this chance to have you on my show and that you're offering music and sound to the world, and people are changing, their lives are changing, their energy is changing. And you know what, the more and more of us that come together to provide people with healings, I think that the world is just going to become a better place, because the stress in the world right now is unbelievable. Like you mentioned, it is ridiculous. I've never seen it at the height that it's at. And with the technology that we have, and just keeping our bodies intact is getting harder and harder. So thank you so much for the work that you do. And thank you so much for being here. So we are coming to the end of our time together. I know you have, can you mention your gift again for our listeners so that they could grab it right now and just share with the audience as to how they can grab it again, please?
Oh, I would be more than happy to. And before this, I got to say, Deeple, thank you so much for having me on your show and for just the love and light that and I hate to use that term, but really that's what you do, is you spread love to everybody, and light as a high vibration that we're all able to get from you and your wisdom and everything with your show and bringing us together. The listeners, if you go to my website, it's tedwinslow.com. You can go into the store, select Angelic Sound Healing. Again, do it from a computer, and you're going to go in and check out. You're not putting in any credit card information. Go back a step, because you're supposed to put in a coupon code to zero out the balance. And that coupon code is going to be radio, RADIO. And then you'll be able to download all of those and enjoy those frequencies. If you like them, I just ask that as this gift, if you've got an Amazon account or an iTunes account, just put on a good word on there for a review, so it helps others to spread that high vibration, so that they might be able to find that as well through those reviews.
And I want to thank everyone for listening. If you love listening to this podcast, thank you for downloading or playing my podcast. You can always catch it like a repeat or a replay at anandaforlife.com. And that is ANANDA, the number 4, life.com. And I'd love it if you'd share it with others, family, friends, anyone you want to. The more people we bring into our community, the more lives that we can change together. So thank you to my loyal listeners. And you can reach me again at anandaforlife.com or deepolshah.info. Until next Monday, I will see you then at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. I am your host, Deepal Shah, wishing you love, light, and gratitude. Namaste, everybody. Thank you, Ted.
Thank you so much.